I shared more with you today than with anybody else.
Today, I'm talking with Jack Barsky, a former KGB agent who spent a decade living a life of lies until he left the KGB with nothing but a fake name and a desire for real change. In this episode, as you just heard, Jack tells me more about himself than he's ever shared anywhere in any podcast. He talks about his emotions, regrets, what he's repressed, and much more. There's a bit of an echo on his side of things, but with such honesty, we just felt we couldn't really take the podcast. This is Real Unfiltered, Jack Barsky. Welcome to Growth, Wellbeing, and the Mess Between, where personal stories, expert insights, and science come together to make sense of what it really means to be human. I'm Kevin, the CEO of Wellbeing Mastery Academy, and this is a podcast with Jack Barsky. Let's get to it. So, Jack, thank you very much again for coming here. And I'd like to ask you, what did it feel like when you went through things? More specifically, you once lived by deception, and now you teach leadership through truth. So what did it take, especially emotionally, to cross that divide, and how does that make you feel what you went through? How does it affect you, and how do you deal with it nowadays and in those days?
That's a very open-ended question, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to give the complete answer to that. But let's just start out with the lying. This is based on feedback from my mother. She would tell that to other people. I overheard her say this, that I am like brutally honest,
Right.
and I won't cheat. As a child, I lived in a village, in a small village, and there was no, there were no neighbors, no neighbor kids around, so I had to play a lot by myself. So I played board games. So I had the teams playing against one another, and I had my favorite team. But my mother watched me and watched the pain when the ugliest team kept on winning. I'm wired to be truthful. As a matter of fact, this is somewhat of a German character traits. Germans are in your face, like they will tell you the truth as they know it, whether you're interested in it or not. So in that respect, I used to grow up very German, and we just used to criticize one another, and that was just expected. I don't like that shirt that you're wearing there. So if you do this in the United States, you get ostracized very quickly.
Yeah, not a good idea. But basically, don't ask a German how they are unless you want to know how they are.
Exactly right. So, truth teller, and that carried me through my school years, college, and my truth became communism.
Right.
Okay, we were subjected to significant brainwashing from kindergarten on, and it was very, very well done. I give you this one example that I keep on telling people how my logical mind knew that East Germany was serving the right cause. The Soviet Union was serving the right cause, and we were still fighting the vestiges of Nazism and fascism that was represented by NATO. So here's the thing. In our junior year, every high school class, every high school junior class was required to visit a concentration camp. Now, in those days, only the top 10% of students in middle school would be allowed to go on to high school.
Right.
So we're talking about the future leaders of the country. And we had a trip to Bodenwald, which is outside of Weimar,
Right.
and one of the most historic uh, bastions of German culture. So, and the displays that we saw there, huge pictures of corpses piled on top of one another, and all over the walls. And there were also shrunken heads in glass cases, and also lampshades made out of human skin. And we got to see the gas chamber, and this is where where so incredibly brilliantly organized by the communist leaders.
Mhm.
We went to the place, the gas chamber, and right next to it, there was another room where people were executed by a shot in the neck
Mhm.
from the outside. They were put against the wall to the pretense of being measured, and then a hole opened, and bam, they were killed. And who was killed in that manner was the leader of the Communist Party, who was arrested when the Nazis took over,
Mm.
Ernst Thälmann. And And it's a historic truth that the communists in those days were the only force that fought the Nazis physically. That doesn't mean they were better. They had come to power. They would have been sort of like a Stalinist kind of a regime, right? But they fought them, so that's all we knew. And we also knew that Stalin and the Soviet Union defeated the Nazis. You know, we witnessed the atrocities of the Nazis. And what was known to us, and that is also a historic truth, that in West Germany, there were some ex-Nazis in the government.
Yeah.
And even the most extreme example was, that was taught, that was not common knowledge. But the head of the Bundesnachrichtendienst, Reinhard von Galen,
Mhm.
uh, had served under Hitler on the Eastern Front, that he was initially co-opted by as the Galen organization. His and his organization were co-opted by the CIA.
Right.
So what I knew, that one thing I knew, the cause that was going to fight, we were the heirs of terror. We were fighting the Nazis, and everything in the West, including the United States, was evil. And because of that knowledge, I um, used my talents that I had a talent to tell stories.
Mm.
I'm a storyteller by nature. I used my talents to spin perfect lies
Mm.
because I knew I was doing it for a good cause.
Yeah. So you could sort of override your normal proposition truth.
And here's the thing. Maybe if I can expand this,
Mhm.
I slept into a different personality, right?
Yeah.
Jack Barsky. I was not born as Jack Barsky. I was born with an unpronounceable German name. Albeit. Um, and the KGB managed to steal Barsky's identity. Barsky actually died at the age of 11.
Okay.
And they acquired, they never told me how they did it, but I came to the U.S. with in my luggage, a birth certificate of Jack Barsky,
Mm.
sewn into a secret compartment. And 3 days after my arrival, I became Jack Barsky.
Yeah.
Which in those days you could, because you could travel without identity.
Mm.
You could get on a plane without showing ID. Uh, you couldn't get a job unless you had Social Security, but you could acquire a Social Security number later in life. And so I did. I got my driver's license. And so I established my identity as Jack Barsky. And here's the thing. The rationale of of lying and pretending to be somebody else, that that foundation did not go away, at least not for quite some time. But within that bubble that I created for myself, the bubble of lies,
Yeah.
I was told, be honest.
Mm.
They're honest, authentic.
Yeah.
And I was, I was not disingenuous when I try to help people. And I did. I tutored people. I had a friend who I met in a class in college when I went back to college, who had just immigrated uh, from China, not the mainland,
Mhm.
and he barely spoke the language.
Right.
So I took him under my wings and did phonetics exercises with him
Wow.
because I learned how to, work on my accent.
Mhm.
So I did that with him. So I was still myself, which actually it was part of the requirement to blend in with society.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my personality with adjustments for the American communication style
Mm.
did quite well.
Yeah.
And so when I had my first job, um, as a professional, I joined an insurance company as a computer programmer. I I already fit in very well with some minor exceptions, but one of the things, for instance, that was a positive coming out of having grown up in a communist country, there was no racism.
There was no what?
There was no racism in
Yeah. Yeah.
none. No, we didn't have anybody say, "Hey, we're all white people."
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would help.
I remember one time there was a dark-skinned person showed up in the village, and it was a sensation. "Hey, come on, look, there's a there's a dark person." But we, from child on, we were uh, told that racism is absolutely evil, and there was no anti-Semitism.
Okay, that is very good, actually. I did not know that. I've studied history quite a lot, but I did not know that.
Yeah, well, I led through it. So,
Yeah.
so in the, and in my job, my first job, it was like the eh, I was the only one American of that team. I was everybody else was an immigrant, and and there were the people with Chinese, Russian, uh, Ukrainian,
Right.
and Black Americans and Hispanics.
Mm.
And I did very well. So I interacted with everybody
Yeah.
like they were colorblind. I was like
Yeah.
totally colorblind. And so I didn't really have to deal with an inner conflict
Mm.
because I managed to fit in really well and be comfortable. I got to a point where I was so comfortable that I was thinking, yeah, I'm gonna miss these guys
Mm.
when I have to go back to Germany.
Yeah.
Oh, it was really nice. And we were paid well. We got free lunch, and I was still looking for the evil capitalists. I found some stupid bosses, but but nobody really fundamentally out there exploiting us
Yeah.
because we were, I got raises like every 3, 4 months, and I did well. So it was a fair system, and I knew. And one other thing, it was a significantly more effective, productive system than what I had experienced in East Germany because there was some competition involved,
Yeah. Yeah. Health and nutrition helps.
and that required individual ownership. It wasn't always about the team and the team and the team. As a matter of fact, East Germany was nothing but they call them Brigaden, brigades or short for team. The work team became your set of friends.
Mhm.
That were the people that were at your wedding. That were the people when you celebrated birthdays and so forth. You lived as part of a collective.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I never liked is the collective. I'm an individualist. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I don't
Good
give a
thought.
team. Okay, don't get me wrong. I played on a basketball team,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and I subordinated myself to the better players because, it was required.
Yeah.
Okay, so and my favorite, play position in basketball is the point guard because his or her, responsibility is to make everybody look better. So, but the team, just because we have to be a team, and there's a German word called Gleichschaltung. That means uh, everybody becomes very similar to everybody else.
Uniformity?
Group think involved, huh?
Yeah, uniformity.
Uniformity, uniformity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And I even today, in my professional life, and when I do the mentoring that I'm doing now these days, I treat everybody as an individual, and we all are,
Yes.
even whether we are aware of this or not. But we all are individual with individual strengths and weaknesses. And one of the most important things that I tell people to live a satisfying and a joyful, want to call it happy life, is to know who you are,
Mm.
get to know yourself,
Yep.
get and embrace your strengths, and don't spend too much time trying to get rid of the weaknesses. Just make sure they don't get in the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't dance.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you don't need to do your mentoring.
I was one of the ugliest looking basketball players, but I overcame that weakness with pure athleticism.
Yeah.
I had no technique.
Yeah.
So there's ways to get around your weaknesses, but don't focus on them. And my parents, like in my upbringing, it was like pretty bad. And uh, this was very German. When I brought home report cards,
Mhm.
the focus was always on the one grade that wasn't an A.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's disheartening.
So remember this one situation. My mother always tried to keep my competitive self going, and there was this one classmate who had similar grades to mine. And so there was one written test. I came home and I said, I got the best grades, even Goethe, this other guy, he, I beat him. And so what she looked at the grade and said, well, it was a B. Did they give out A's by any chance?
How to be a supportive parent.
Tough love, yeah. So and I'm just the exact opposite. I just told my youngest daughter in her face, I said, by the way, you do not have to perform for me to love you.
Yeah.
I love you unconditionally. You perform for yourself,
Mhm.
okay? And I can help you and I can hint, but this I will not tell you how to be, what to do, unless you're. I will teach you some things if you're in the process of doing damage to yourself.
Mm.
But that German methods that I was subjected to is horrible.
It is really destructive. You can't believe in yourself at all. You just have to be a perfectionist all the time. That is not
Right.
true.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now it took me 70 years to get to know myself, and I'm pretty comfortable with that guy now.
Mm. Well, that's good. That is very good. Just would have been nice in your early 20s.
Yeah, well, I took this detour, right? Changing cultures,
Mm.
um, changing behaviors,
Yeah.
and living that lie. There were some negative results
Mm.
coming from the double A.
Yeah.
Like, what I mean, been married here in the U.S. and married in Germany, and having left that woman in Germany, and then having left that family,
Yeah.
who I love my German wife more than I love my American wife,
Mm.
but much more, as a matter of fact. Like, we had a child together,
Mm.
and this love, I have never loved a woman as much as I love my two daughters.
Yeah.
Totally unconditional, no matter, even the adult one, she doesn't have to perform for me, but I just love her.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday was her birthday, uh, and I never stop loving her. I wish her the best, and I don't lecture her. By the way, she's more German these days than I am. Very combative.
Okay. Okay. Are you having her fight against you as well then?
But he shuts me down occasionally.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, I wanted to actually go.
It's in the genes, there's a genetic profile that is also, I believe, unique to each one of us.
Mm.
The mix of team.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to go back a little bit, actually. I visited Auschwitz myself in Poland, and I was 13 when I did that. Yeah, it was pretty nasty, but I think it was a good lesson because it showed me what can happen when you don't live in an ethically correct way. If you let people do wrong things and you don't try and stop them, then it can spiral down. And what was shocking for me was there was this bunker we went into, and they had taken the doors away and the walls and put glass there so you could see through. And we went just in front of the showers, and there was this room on the left with a pile of shoes, right? And the smallest shoe was so small that it was bound to be like a half-a-year-old kid. That broke me down completely as a 13-year-old when I realized that people can do that. So I'm just thinking, when you knew in your mind you were doing the right thing, but you still saw those kind of things when you went to a concentration camp, was there any feeling of, okay, these people are not good, but this is a bit too much?
No, I internalized
Mm.
the reason for my mission, but there wasn't any visualization, and there was a lot of rationalization. For instance, my first visit to a Western country, the first visit actually was to West Berlin, but the Western country was Canada, and I experienced the wealth that was in Canada, and I was sort of prepared for that, but it was astounding.
Yeah.
I spent hours and hours walking around in a department store
Yeah.
and being in awe of the 20 different carpets you could buy there.
Yeah.
Because in East Germany, there was only one, and it was usually light yellow or grayish.
Great color.
Yes, and the West was more colorful. So here's again, you know, um, I'm wired to be somewhat intellectual, even though that's not something to be proud of. But my my I'm a very very logical thinker. I study science, right?
Right.
And so the communist propaganda did a number on us. We were They had to admit, because there's a lot of people in East Germany that had relatives in the West,
Yeah.
and they were always bragging about the packages that they got with bananas and all kinds of stuff that you couldn't get in the East. Though our rationalization was that, well, there's one word, imperialism.
Yeah.
The West just took advantage and stole all the good stuff out of the third world countries, and we again, we as the saviors of the world, were actually making progress to free the third world countries from the oppressors, and it was in the 60s and 70s where third world countries, quite a few of them became allies with the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
And this was taught to us on a regular basis. We had a map sitting in our classroom. We didn't for the classrooms. We were going to stuff for the lab, and there was a map that we were staring at, and it was a map of the world. So the communist countries were red, the capitalists were blue, and the third world countries were green.
Right.
And over the time, the green grew
Mm.
and it got pinkish.
Mm.
And so, and in hindsight, I understand that the mindset of the West to be afraid of the communist takeover wasn't totally unjustified.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't just paranoia, there was something to it. So anyway, I bought into this hook, line, and sinker.
Mhm.
It took one event for me to decontaminate significantly, and that was when I had quit the KGB because of the love of my daughter,
Mhm.
and that love from me. Oh, sorry for that. Conquering that love, conquering every other thing that was either a threat or a great future for me in East Germany. I had received the second highest decoration of the Soviet Union prior to me quitting the KGB, so I was going to live the good life, and
Yeah.
I was going to be part of the elite. And this love for my daughter trumped all of that.
Yeah.
I had no control over it. This is like
Yeah.
where people instinctively throw themselves under a bus because they want to say the life of their part.
Yep.
It's an instinct that's built into us as fathers if we are normal. So, I was still sort of, at that point I was more of a socialist because
Mhm.
I understood that the economic system, it wasn't really imperialism that made the United States a great country, and the Western world. It had something to do with competition, and it had something to do with, that capitalism is a way to to generate wealth, whereas communism consumed wealth. So I understood that in those days, there were in Western Europe, there were some uh, socialist or left-leaning parties that came up with a theory of what they called convergence theory,
Okay.
where they would say we need to combine the good parts of communism with the good parts of capitalism
Right.
and create what you guys have nowadays anyway, the welfare state.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And I'm not going to make an argument for or against the welfare state, but I had bought into that.
Yeah.
I had, I couldn't have uh, kept on hating capitalism when there was evidence that was what was maybe hateful were individual people in individual parties, individual organizations, so forth. But the system itself was not to be hated because it
Mm.
did well for me.
Mhm.
That, but that's when I was sitting in my living room in Queens watching television, and then there came a special report, and it showed that the wall is falling.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Agile.
Yeah. That must have been quite a shock for you.
It it was as much as a shock, it was a shock as much for me as it was for the CIA, the KGB, and everybody else. Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah.
It was a spontaneous groundswell. Maybe there were some insiders in Germany who foresaw that, but they kept quiet.
Yeah. Maybe.
And it was a huge surprise. I mean, I was still under the impression that, East Germany would eventually pass the West economically. We already were much better in sports. Never mind the talk that we've had this, yeah, athletes, but I didn't know that.
True. Yeah.
But but I believed in the superiority of our system over the like the West German system, and I was ready. I had been ready to go back home and live there and live there for the rest of my life. Obviously, I wasn't anymore because I had this child that I couldn't possibly leave, and I couldn't take the family with me because the KGB would have probably put me in jail for insubordination.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because there's no way. See, I married a foreign national who wasn't illegal, and I made her legal by filing for her.
Right. Yeah.
Now, and then I would I never told her. I mean, this was like endangering my mission.
Yeah.
In a big way. Right?
Okay.
So it says no. There was no way to even going back to Germany, uh, um, as an established American. At that point, I was already too American,
Mm.
so there's no way I could leave this child.
Yeah.
No, no, and that's when I started. And another thing that happened at the time, the internet was available as my library. I didn't have to go and read books.
Yeah.
And I found the truth.
Mm.
As they say, the truth shall set you free.
Yep.
Because I was able to get a hold of Vladimir Lenin, who was the greatest hero of my youth. Not Stalin, because Stalin eventually was, what became known as the evil person that he was. But Lenin was always the biggest hero because he sacrificed his life,
Yeah.
his health, his life, to make the earth a better place for everybody else, which I didn't know because we read original writings by Lenin, but they were redacted.
Ah.
I didn't know they were redacted. So they took things out where he commanded the implementation of the Red Terror, where counter-revolutionaries
Mm.
would have to be executed on site, and peasants would be executed and hung from trees, because they had kulaks, the wealthy peasants, the farmers,
Yeah.
because they didn't give up their wealth. And I read this in the original, and I said, okay, you know how quickly I became an anti-communist?
Yeah. Yeah. Omitting information is extremely powerful in brainwashing.
Well-meaning people in East Germany and in Russia participated in brainwashing. Brainwashing works best if it gets distributed. It doesn't come from one person, right?
Yeah.
And it's all over the place, and it's even about there's some worthwhile causes that that I have no problem with, but they still grow and maintain themselves by using propaganda rather than this here. That's why I like it. When your decisions are based, when most decisions in life are based on your feelings.
Yep.
Very likely, one of the most powerful feeling that man has, and that's the feeling that makes us alive, is fear.
Yep.
You're going to make decisions based on fear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Most law having is based on that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can stand to like the marketing of life insurance, and the marketing of all kinds of medications and stuff like that.
What if you were to die? What would your daughter do? Oh God, I have to buy this thing.
Which one?
No. I'm generally speaking, that's how they do their marketing. What would you do if? Yeah.
Absolutely.
That makes you immediately think, oh goodness, I have to do this so my daughter has like the money she needs or whatever.
Guilty. You're afraid for them, and that fear is actually more powerful than being afraid of you for your own self. Yeah.
Yeah, fully agree. I've got 2 kids. If somebody would come here with a knife or something, normally, I would run away. But if the kids are there, I'll attack him. I have to. The kids are there; they won't be able to run away.
There you go. And I have a good friend who might be actually a great interview for you. His name is Robin Drake.
Okay.
He worked counterintelligence for the FBI, and his people skills were so good that he managed to turn several GRU agents, military intelligence, and they're supposed to be the toughest
Yeah.
but Soviet intelligence individuals. And he then joined the behavioral division and wound up leading that division. He's a published author, published 2 books, and he will tell you when asked, how he managed to turn these GRU agents. He said, everybody makes decisions in life that are good for themselves, but even more important, good for the people that they care about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm an intelligence agent, foreign or from another country, and I have a kid back in Moscow that is very ill and can't get treatment in Moscow, and I'm counterintelligence and I can offer that, hasn't from the break.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. You're gonna go for the treatment. Of course you are.
Yeah, of course you are. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
And you will, whatever you just believed in, you throw that away. You just like you encapsulate this in your brain, so you don't you don't suffer from cognitive dissonance.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So actually, talking about cognitive dissonance, you said that you broke when you realized the truth. What kind of emotions did you go through at that point?
I suppressed them.
Yeah.
I truly suppressed them because I had a family. We when I made a decision to stay, and it turned out that the FBI wasn't going to arrest me, and the KGB hadn't come after me.
Yeah.
That I now focus on my version of the American dream. That became my passion. So I told my wife, let's go save some money, buy a house, and we decided to have another child. And that became my passion. I did not, I was not comfortable coming clean with myself at that point. Again, I wish that some neurologist one day would study my brain, because there's still a German section in there and there's an American section in there.
Yeah.
If somebody stepped into this room right now and said something in German, immediately I would even unknowingly switch to German.
Yeah.
And I cannot translate very easily. I can once I start talking in German, I can speak it fluently.
Yeah.
So there's some compartmentalization, physical compartmentalization in my brain. And I had to become the American. I had to embrace Jack Barsky. I had completely forgotten. Because, if I think back about Germany,
Yeah.
the guilt feeling comes back. And who is comfortable feeling guilty all the time?
Nobody.
I suppressed this. This is just more for my mental sanity. But I couldn't completely suppress it either.
Yeah.
Particularly when I was discovered by TBS 60 Minutes, and I became a public figure. I had to give an interview, and before that was actually when I went back to Germany after I gotten my American passport, and I had a phone call with my German wife,
Right.
where I left, and we never met in person. It was justifiably extremely uncomfortable.
Right.
She cursed at me, telling many which ways, and I just listened, and I took it because I had to.
Yeah.
And so that guilt that I oppressed came right back.
Yeah.
Also, the guilt of having left my son. The only safety net that I had was I didn't leave that woman for another woman. And I left her for a child who, without me, would have grown up in poverty, whereas my German son had a stable family structure to support. He got his doctorate in chemistry, which I didn't. Okay, so but that girl never leaves you.
No.
And the other part was like when Der Spiegel, the German journalist who um, uh, accompanied me on my trip back into the past and interviewed me with very, very uncomfortable questions. Nowadays, they're not uncomfortable anymore because I'm used to it. I process all of this.
Yeah.
But process this being interrogated by an investigative reporter, that's a different story, right?
Yeah, they got nasty buttons.
What they managed to find is they got in touch with my brother who doesn't want to have anything to do with me.
Right.
And I understand why, because I was Mom's favorite son. And the Spiegel, the reporter, the German reporter, was able to get some photographs and 2 pictures of the photographs that my brother has. And there's a photograph of him pushing my mother in a wheelchair who suffered from Parkinson's.
Okay.
And she never knew what happened to her favorite son.
Oh.
The rumor that eventually, because when the wall came down, there would have been, my cover story was when I went to the United States that I was doing secret space research in Kazakhstan. Very secret. Who couldn't even disclose the location, anything. No phone calls, no nothing. And my mother believed that.
Yeah.
And then when the wall came down, there was no more reason for me to be in the Soviet Union, right? So she actually wrote a letter to Gorbachev and asked him for help find me. A good friend of ours who she eventually married. No, she didn't marry it. She met somebody during her travels, and that person spoke Russian, and he once went on a Russian TV station and asked. There was a TV station that Finding You or something like that. It was called a program that would put people together that had lost touch with one another.
Right.
And there's a copy of that video I have in my possession. Again, I can't shed that guilt.
No.
And in the interest of full disclosure, and because of all that, I had sleeping problems. For my sleeping problem got worse.
Yeah.
And I had nightmares, particularly nightmares of losing control.
In what way do you mean?
Huh?
In what way do you mean losing control?
Oh, for instance, driving a car and the car wouldn't go where I wanted to go.
Ah, right, yeah.
Very frequently. Or not knowing where I'm at anymore. Like I'm wandering around in a city that I don't know what city it is.
Right.
I don't know why I'm there, and I don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
That's the typical base fear of an agent who is stranded in a foreign country without knowing how to get back where you came from.
Yeah, where the heck am I?
Yeah, but I traveled to countries where I didn't speak the language. Find that right.
EFC came to Finland.
Huh?
Did you say Finland? Hey, Finland has been mentioned. I'm half Finnish myself, so.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was in Helsinki like 2 or 3 times.
Oh,
That was my staging area before making my way into Moscow.
right.
That's where I met another KGB agents, and we exchanged passports, and and I took an Aeroflot flight into Moscow.
Right.
Yeah, Finland was a challenge because of the street names for you, by the Elong.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. They are pretty damn long.
And I couldn't write them down. I had to memorize them. Okay, because memorize where we would meet.
Yeah.
Right? And then you had to find my way. So the whole idea of being lost in a strange place wasn't so far fetched.
Makes sense.
All of that did a number on my brain.
Yeah.
And so that sleeping really made me maybe self-medicate. I used alcohol to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And it became a dependency. Nobody at work ever knew that I was drinking at night. I did not drink during the day. And occasionally when there was something really bad happening, I got drunk during the day, only on the weekend.
Right. Yeah.
So no, I cannot claim having left this life undamaged.
Well,
But
that
I
would
managed.
be any impossibility.
Yeah, that would be a big whole lie. And as a matter of fact, people who know other people who played similar roles. I actually know two individuals who were undercover in the mafia,
Right.
in the South American mafia, the mob, and one was in undercover in Al Qaeda. PTSD, both of them. Okay, so it is what it is. I think I know at a point where I'm very much at peace. As a matter of fact, I get that feedback from people who know me well, including my former wife, the love of my life, who kicked me out 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
We kept in touch. We love each other still. We just didn't function very well together.
Right.
And but she told me that I I had lost practically as much as it's not visible, all my negativity.
That's fantastic.
I still have some negative thoughts when I wake up, but I deal with them through meditation and some prayers. And then the rest of the day, go away.
Yeah.
Life's good. There's so much to be thankful for.
That's
There's
excellent.
so many good things that happen to me on a regular basis. One of them being an interview, by the way.
Thank you.
That I could not expect, that I didn't engineer, that just came to me. Gratitude is the strongest emotion these days, and love, obviously. Because I had reconnected with that boy who never got the love who he really, really needed.
Yeah.
And I can share that with individuals. And I just did some sharing with somebody who could become a love interest.
Oh, I'm very happy to hear that.
So it's a 10-day situation. We met on LinkedIn in a professional setting.
Interesting.
And started finishing each other's sentences. There wasn't really business to be done. And then we talked again and again. So far, I'm going to meet her on a Wednesday for the first time in person.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you. And this is a slam dunk. We know each other. We're not identical in any way, shape, or form, but we know each other so well. We actually communicate very often without saying a word.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Just feeling what the other person feels.
And also, what makes this potential relationship? She loves me. I don't know this already. And I mean, she's crazy about me.
That's fantastic.
Oh, hold on,
You're making me cry.
and I'm not waiting love. I was looking for love. Okay. Yeah. And what puts the dot on the I is her musical taste is identical to mine. And for an American to have, who have been grown up in poverty, to have a musical repertoire that covers all the classical composers, extremely rare.
Yeah.
And she is an accomplished singer, and music is very important to me. So she already sang a couple of lullabies over the internet. I won't name any names here, but it's you can use it if it makes any sense in the context of what you're doing.
So basically, alcohol has now been changed to love. That's a very good way of going to sleep.
No, it can't. You use it as medication, and then that it can get out of hand.
Yeah.
The good news is that my German discipline naturally allowed me to fight it. What I fought, what was harder than fight actually was nicotine.
Oh.
I quit cigarette cold turkey.
Oh yeah, tough. That's tough.
The withdrawal symptoms were like atrocious. For one week, I couldn't think clearly.
Yeah.
And when I touched my forearm with the left forearm with the right hand, I couldn't feel anything.
What the heck? How does
Well, yeah, it was nothing. It's because I smoked 2 packs a day,
Yeah.
a lot of nicotine.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that was tough to deal with was the instinctive reach for the cigarette when you wait for a bus or you have a dull moment.
Yeah.
And so forth. And then as a program, I quit smoking when I was a programmer. Nicotine helps you concentrate.
Right.
A lot of us smoked like bandits.
Mm-mm.
So yeah. Now I have a addictive personality, but a lot of that addiction is actually good.
So addiction
I
to
give up. I don't give up.
Okay.
Persistence.
Yeah.
And how do you think I learned English so well in a couple of years that I could pretend to have been born in the United States? It's once I start something, I can't help it. I was addicted to playing the horses for a while.
Oh, that's not good.
But it was very well regulated because I had a partner who knew what he was doing, so I didn't lose any money.
Okay. Okay. Now that good thing at least there.
But yeah, so the obsessive compulsive component is quite strong in me.
Yeah.
Except I'm aware of it. Here's the thing, and we're talking about weaknesses and strengths. If you're aware of your weaknesses, you have a chance of regulating them in some way. You can't make them go away because they're built into your genetic makeup.
Yeah. And you cannot control what you do not recognize.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I meet so many people who are completely not self-aware.
Yeah.
And God forbid, the drum industry would want to tell them, but that's not what you do. And that takes either, somebody, either a long-term gentle mentoring relationship or somebody undergoing therapy.
Yeah.
Because they know something is not quite right.
Yeah. They expect it.
You can't go even to your best friend and point fingers and tell them, this is bad.
Yeah.
You can't fix it because they can't. And they probably don't want to.
Yeah. That's probably true. Yeah. I was thinking, by the way, of asking this question right now in here because you said a while ago, almost in the beginning, about like how you are still the authentic truth teller even through all of this. So I had a question that I've been thinking about earlier, which would be what helped you rebuild a sense of integrity after years of lying. But is it really that so more like that you could sort of split yourself, as you said, into German and American. Yeah, the same way, do that with the lying and the truth.
Well, there's two, I think, two elements of your question here. One of them is to become and remain my authentic self. I believe I sort of answer that question.
Yes, kind of, yeah.
Okay. The other one is reading other people as to whether they tell the truth or not.
Mm.
And that is something that I developed over time.
Mm.
And I have a neurologist friend, a very famous neurologist, who confirmed that what my theory is actually there's science behind it.
Right.
I have always been a people watcher, even as a child. So I remember when occasionally my parents and I would go to a restaurant and they would read me the riot act for don't stare at people, stop staring, and I was just like trying to figure them out. Okay,
Yeah.
so but that was just as a child.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always interested in other people. Very curious. That's part of my makeup. Curious, and people are so interesting.
Yeah.
So, but now, as a spy, reading people rather quickly
Mm.
becomes a survival skill.
Yeah.
Particularly, if I had to figure out, particularly with women, I had to figure out who I could get a little bit closer to
Mm-hmm.
because they wouldn't be dangerous to me, or they wouldn't figure out that I'm not telling the truth and stuff like that. So I managed every new person I met. I sort of like studied subconsciously. It is not necessarily that you consciously say, "Oh, this is this person," and you write it down. No, it's my subconscious
Yeah.
did work. And over time, I created, generated a huge database of avatars, types, that's not just fundamentally are they good or bad. No, the attribute.
Yeah.
How they address, how they speak, what words they use, intonation, body language, facial expression. I can't teach that. It's in here because my subconscious, when I meet another person, goes and compares and
Yeah.
finds one of those avatars and comes back with very general but very important classifications. Smart, not smart. It happens to me all the time.
Right.
It takes about a minute,
Mm-hmm.
and I will never tell anybody that they're not smart. But I find a smart person, and you're really smart.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about anything, very deep. It's just, it's in here. It's my,
I get that.
those smart, not smart, telling the truth, not perfect, because my subconscious cannot defeat a, a psychopath and sociopath.
Yeah.
Cannot.
Yeah.
And neither can the lie detector.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But overall, thumbs up and thumbs down. And I have personal proof to myself that I'm not making this up, because in my final years as an executive and as a senior level manager in information technology in corporate America, I interviewed a lot of job applicants. So first of all, the resume I only read to see if they have the skills that they pretended to have, and I told them up front, if you don't have the skills, I'm not going to give a technical interview. If you don't have the skills, you're gone tomorrow. Okay, most of them did, and then I didn't. I veered away from the traditional interview, the HR type interview, such as, so what are your plans for the future? Why? What do you think you can get out of this job? Why are you leaving the other job? Even which is a really good question. Can you share with me who's your tell me who was your favorite boss, or is your favorite boss in your current job, and what did you like in a particular other the boss? I just talk with them
Yeah.
about anything. Find out, so what you doing in spare time? Oh, you like gardening too? Well, so this and my subconscious went to work. I made one made one bad decision, and that is when I allowed my logical mind to override my gut feeling.
Yeah.
I didn't like the guy, but I wanted to because he had technology that I sorely needed on my team.
Right. Yeah.
And I rationalized my gut feeling away by saying, "You need this guy." And here's the thing, I knew that he was a bad communicator, and he gave out bad vibes.
Yeah.
So I reported directly to the CEO, and this guy was going to take a really important role. I isolated him from contact with the rest of the senior management team. Because of the good work that he did as a hands-on technician,
Right.
he became an employee of the year.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then this employee of the year, a couple of months later, went to talk to my boss, the CEO, and told the CEO that I was useless and I should be fired.
Okay.
So, do I need any more proof that my logical mind is really very feeble when it comes to making good decisions? We make so many decisions based on our subconscious,
Yeah.
like particularly the instinctive physical reactions. And as you get older and you can't do this anymore, like if I drop this and then I can't catch it anymore,
Yeah.
that means I'm not aging very graciously.
Well, you called that one.
It got dangerous. Yeah, no, they still got it. They got it. The thing is, you keep that going by training your nervous system and by training your mind.
Yep.
Training your mind and then also the body, because you need to have a healthy body to host a functioning mind.
So yeah.
And that's where my German discipline comes in again. But you know, to finish that answer, my gut feeling is not 100%. There's some congenital liars that have fooled me, but for the most part, 9 out of 10 easily, and it takes like
Yeah.
a couple of minutes, and this is not inherited. That's acquired.
Yeah.
Anybody can acquire it, just take time.
Yeah. I have the exact same thing when I look at people moving, because I used to be a personal trainer. I still do that now and again, and a nutrition coach and so forth. So when I'm outside, I see people walking, immediately, hip problem comes from the left ankle. It's just, the brain just does it because I've done it so long.
Yeah. The subconscious is such a powerful thing that we have in our body, and it isn't just here; it goes all the way down to here.
Yeah. Actually, I'll tell you a little story to do with that. When I was with my children's mother, we have separated now, but when I was with her and she was pregnant for our first kid, I was taking a little break. I was on the computer, had my headsets on, I was playing a game, music loud. She was in another room. Her door was closed and she had music there. And then all of a sudden I go like this, take them off, run there, she's crying. There's literally no way I could have heard. Absolutely none. But I knew. That's definitely gut instinct right there.
Now, your ears probably picked up a signal, but your subconscious did not recognize it as a signal.
Maybe. But
it recognized it in such a way, but in some way that didn't make it into a sound, because the sound isn't generated here; it's generated here. I mean, the waves come in here.
Yeah.
But you see and you hear with your brain.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so that's interesting. That's I haven't had anything like that happen yet. It's an out of body experience almost.
Yeah, I had a similar thing when I was a kid. I don't know, maybe I was 9 or something. Um, I was in my room. Again, I had music on and I was reading a book. And way over the other side of the building, my sister was listening to music. Both of our doors were closed. And she opened, I think it was like Pepsi or something, goes, shh. And I want some too. It's like, how? How can I hear that? But yeah, somehow. So the body and mind work really interestingly. They can pick up stuff that you just consciously don't realize.
That's 100%. If I were to get a chance to start life over again, I would pick neurology and psychology as my subject to study.
Yeah.
Because I find nothing more interesting than the human mind, and it's a mystery. I don't think anybody can, even AI can't figure it out. I don't believe so. You can imitate it to some degree, and you probably imitate it already quite well, but there's something there. That's when, when people get spiritual and have experiences that don't seem to be real, but for them they're real, so that makes them real.
Yeah. That is also a very interesting question. What is reality in the end? Because reality to you will be different than reality to someone else.
Yes, it is what you perceive.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a lot of pictures where depending upon who's looking at them and the angle you look at, they're different things. And this is just like high level illustration. Perception is, we filter everything based on our past experiences. Everything.
Yeah.
And we all have unique past experiences.
Yeah.
Unless there may be one minor exception, and that's identical twins. Oh, by the way, speaking of, if you don't mind, as a little sidebar,
Go ahead.
identical triplets.
Oh,
I met 3 identical triplets in college.
okay.
They were separated at birth
Mhm.
as an experiment.
Oh,
I don't know what organization did that. They were placed into different to do a study of nature versus nurture, right?
yeah.
They put in different families, different social standing, different background, nationality, just very different.
Yeah.
And they found one another by accident. So one of the fellows visited a college in upstate New York someplace. This is all documented. There's a documentary out there called Three Identical Strangers. You may want to take a
Nice
look at
name. That's a good name.
it. Yeah. So one of them went to visit uh, s- a friend in college in upstate, and there were a bunch of people who constantly said saying hello and using the wrong name. Hey Joe, how you doing? What do you mean? So eventually he stopped somebody and asked, what's going on here? Is there somebody who looks like me? Yeah. So they met. It made the newspaper, the local newspaper, and the third guy, or a friend of the third guy, read that paper, and so that's how they met one another.
Right. Yeah.
So nature versus nurture. I met all 3 of them. They decided to go study at the same college where I studied.
Right.
They wore the same clothes. They had the same taste in women. They were like incredibly joyful and funny, and they smoked even uh, the same cigarettes, Marlboro.
Wow.
And then, unfortunately, one of them couldn't handle the fact when they found out that they were part of an experiment. So he committed suicide. The others are still alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. That would be pretty horrendous to realize.
So you see that what the one thing about me is because I have been so active my entire life. I have so many interesting experiences, and I met so many interesting people that I can talk all day, and you're not gonna get bored.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is a very
Like me, huh?
yeah, but that is a very good thing. Very good thing.
Yeah, of course.
Like in Finland, we generally speaking we hate small talk, right? There's literally almost no small talk. So as a half Brit, I was considered weird as a kid because I wanted to talk, right?
Yeah.
So in England, there's a common joke that we make an orderly queue of one in Britain. There always an orderly queue, right?
No.
And okay, fine. Well, that is a very common thing. And in Finland, it's imagine this is a bus stop. There's a person, there's a person, there's a person. Everybody else is outside of the bus stop. We don't go near each other. That is how we are, right?
Oh, so isolated, huh?
Yeah, it literally is. If there's a bus, you're in the bus. If there's seats available, but they're next to another person, people will usually go and stand. If there's no room, then they'll go and sit, right? So then there's me who's like, hi, how are you? How are you? How are you? Who is this guy? Why is he talking to me?
But I'm thinking things still get together, particularly, in historically the cold weather, they had to be inside
Yeah.
next to other Finns.
Well, yes, of course. If you become friends with someone, then there's no problem. And unfortunately, if you drink, Finns drink like fish.
I know. I thought I saw as many drunks in Helsinki in the streets as I did in Moscow.
Yeah, yeah, we drink a lot. So then you get the quiet person going, I love you. And then they would face with everyone. So it's basically an on and off switch. But the funny thing is, if we're in a sauna, so you know the sauna, it's in Finnish sauna, right? Then you will talk easily with other people when you're naked in a room. So weird. But growing up in that, it made me realize how different communication can be between different cultures. And frankly, I have never felt myself a Finn. Every time I go to England, I'm like, I'm home. So it's
I'm not German anymore.
yeah.
I am not. And not that doesn't mean there isn't some Germanic gene in me, obviously. But I feel a whole lot more comfortable in the U.S. now. But there's one thing about Germans that really, two things that really bother me, right? There's more than two, actually, but the number one and two. First of all, Germans don't have a sense that I have a privacy shield here that you don't see, that you do not penetrate. You don't get too close to my face.
Get off.
And the other one is, and I made a little sketch of one cartoon sketch about it. Right? It's about the militaristic discipline that is in the drone, and that's when they go and cross the street on red, even though there's no vehicle inside, left and right, and it's very safe to. And people then yelling at you if you do cross.
Yeah, yeah.
That I mean that in that respect, I'm 100% American.
Yeah. So actually, have you gone to Germany as of late?
Oh yeah, like multiple times.
Right.
As soon as I got my my valid American passport, I made no, first I got the citizenship, then I applied for a passport. As soon as I got the passport, I made arrangements to go to Germany, and it so happened, the long story how that happened, that a German journalist got wind of my existence, and was at the airport when I arrived.
Wow.
Long story has to do with I had brought out my second American wife, whose mother took him to Germany. My my second American wife is actually originally from Jamaica. Uh, so anyway, and he grew up in Germany, and they found each other accidentally. There's a lot of things that had to come together for me to become a public figure. I had nothing to do with it. I didn't want to be interviewed. I didn't want to write a book. My kids told me, "Dad, you got to write a book." When I told them, I said, "Nah, I don't know." It's just like, yeah. And then I tried to mollify them and reached out to some literary agents, and nobody believed my story, so I figured the heck with it. So all of a sudden now I'm the fame of this German journalist. Totally. I have spoken with her, okay, on the phone, and I told her, "You cannot interview me now. I'm not a citizen yet. I don't want to mess this up."
Mm-hmm.
But I did not expect her to be at the airport.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this was a bit of a shock, the same shock when the FBI introduced themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I went back uh to all the places that I had where I grew up and where I lived,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and met some old friends,
Yeah.
and it was beautiful moment from a movie scene point of view was when I met my first girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah. So she was, I fell in love with her in high school.
Right.
Junior year, she dumped me once and then she came back to me. And I mean, I was totally obsessed with her. She was my goddess. Had not learned how to love because my parents hadn't shown me how that is done.
Yeah.
You know, I was most likely, too intense.
Yeah.
Okay. In hindsight. So when we finished high school, she went to college in Berlin. I went to college in the southern city. There was no way to see one another. We not compliment the paid was too slow. There were no phone. So she dumped me unceremoniously with a letter.
Oof. Yeah. No. No. No.
For the 3 years, so now I'm in college where there's lots of beautiful women. I was a good looking guy. I didn't look at another girl for these 3 years.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't a bad thing because I threw myself into my studies.
Mm.
And
Something good comes out of it.
yeah, but so anyway, and it took me 3 years to overcome that failed love.
Yeah.
So now I'm back in Germany, and I had received mailing lists from a classmate of mine, high school classmate, mailing lists and address and phone numbers of classmates. And I'm sitting in my son's apartment, and then I'm looking at the list, and I see, oh, there's Rosie. He lives in Berlin. And I said to my son, "Can I call her?" Hey, yeah, right. You know, he has the same odd sense of humor. You know, he's a funny guy, and he's very much like me. As as a male child, I have two other sons. They're not like me, and Trinity, my youngest, is very much like me. Among between her and the older daughter,
Yeah.
uh, odd sense of humor and very smart, both of them. Anyway, I digress. So I call the number and somebody says hello, and I say in German, obviously, and at that point, accent-free German, which I had reacquired through my travels during in Germany for a couple of weeks. And I said to her, you know, just make sure you sit comfortable and safe. Guess what this is? And she said, so I said, it's Island. I heard.
Yeah.
Because there was a rumor, and I told you about what my mother uh, did not know what happened to me, but she also that rumor was shared with her
Yeah.
that I died in a rocket accident in Kazakhstan. So I was dead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I was officially dead. So here's the dead ex-boyfriend calling.
yeah.
Yeah.
From the other side.
So we decided to meet.
Mm.
And it was, I was a little early sitting at a park bench opposite of a church. So we had a place where we could find each other. There she comes. And we hugged. And then something happened that makes this a movie moment. Tears, not mine, hers.
Mm.
And then she volunteered. I didn't need this apology. I wasn't looking for anything like that. You know, I wasn't in love with her anymore, obviously. She said, I made a bad mistake. I'm so sorry.
Mm.
And as we were going on in our conversation, I'm thinking, no, you didn't. Thank God you stopped me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Probably at that point was a better choice.
No, she was just like, she was all yapping about about her life instead of being interested in mine. Not that my ego demanded this, but that would make a lot of sense. Like, oh, what? You're American? What happened? My story was out there.
Yeah, yeah.
You're American? How did you get there? What? You weren't in college? Huh?
Yeah, why are you not dead? Basically.
Exactly. No curiosity. She just told me about, how she managed to overcome the unification of Germany, and they did well. She and her husband, and eventually, and this is me just to add a little joke to the whole thing. I found out why she uh, confessed that she had made a mistake. And I met her husband.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it.
Hey, uh, hey, sort of somebody who would fade into any kind of background, short guy, no personality.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Not a good choice.
But he wasn't a good businessman, so they managed, unlike a lot of my contemporaries in East Germany, they managed to do well on their capitalism.
Yeah.
A lot of my contemporaries just barely were barely functional because it's like being let out of prison after having spent there for 10 years
Yeah.
and having been told at every moment what you can and you cannot do.
Yeah.
How do you reintegrate? It's very difficult.
Yeah. All of a sudden you have to take charge of everything yourself.
Yeah, and they was used to that.
That's tough.
I had this one friend who had a ranking, pretty high ranking in chess. He played one of the Russians, not a Spassky, but one I think Karpov to a draw at one point in a simultaneous chess match.
Yeah.
And I actually have the record of it. It's written down. And when I met him, he looked physically very ill,
Yeah.
and he told me that he never had another job after the wall came down. He couldn't function in another job. And a couple of months later, he had an accident on his bicycle and passed away. It was like being let out of jail. A lot of damage amongst the East Germans. A lot of damage, even the ones that weren't so as extreme as this fellow.
Mm.
They just all wish the old days back, and you can't live like that. Even there were some good things, but nostalgia is not the way to live. You gotta do what my friend the co-founder of the Magic Castle, a very famous female musician in our time. I live like that's her motto. When I first met her, she said she was 70 years old at the time, and she said, I'm 70 years old, but I'm looking forward to my next 70 years.
That'd be wonderful.
Or she's very active. She is she uh, makes presentations for executives. She has written and published 4 books.
Wow.
that play in an avatar-like world. And she's still trying to make a movie out of it. One day she might succeed, and that's the attitude, you know.
Yeah.
If you don't know a good reason, don't make it up. If you don't know a good reason why you're getting up in the morning, life has no meaning anymore.
Yeah. True.
You gotta have a good reason, and it's not necessarily about making a lot of money, because that doesn't satisfy. It may satisfy you materially, but not
Not the soul.
not emotionally and not spiritually. You know? So it is something called the soul. When you can be happy with yourself without external gratification.
Yep. Essentially living in a self-congruent way. You do what makes you feel good and hopefully, help others.
What I had shared with you, so I pretty much like who I have become, because every day I manage to, at minimum, put a smile on a stranger's face,
That's good.
and very often help people
Mm.
and just make them feel better.
Yeah. Well,
You know what? That's good for me.
Yeah. I can tell you, you definitely made me feel good when I asked you on LinkedIn whether you would like to come to my podcast and be my first guest. I was like, he said yes.
No, but you introduce yourself with so skillfully, and you hit the nerve with me. I know this would be an excellent conversation. Even though I don't need to be on another podcast, I've been on over 100.
Yeah.
But,
I've noticed.
but I still don't say no.
Mm.
Because there's always, first of all, it keeps it helped my mind, and very often there's questions that come out. There's always a question that I've never been asked before,
Mm.
and I have to ask them on the spot.
Yeah.
And it keep my mind active. I don't like retelling my story.
Mm.
So if the story comes up,
Mm.
I will wander off and embellish a little bit and introduce other thoughts. So there hasn't been, I can't even remember a single podcast where I would go away and say, "No, that was a waste of time."
Yeah.
But clearly ours was enriching. I think we're sort of going toward the end.
Yeah, we are. Not only because we've talked a lot, but also because it's almost 10 o'clock here, and 10 o'clock at night I have to shut up so my neighbors get to sleep.
Okay, yeah, well, and I got the remainder of my day ahead of me. I got a to-do list that I don't want to show you because it would shock you.
Too long?
It's very volatile. It's stable, but it has different entries every day.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
And I have ADD,
Mm.
and details kill me.
Yeah.
I now have to actually work on a little detail, because I told you on Wednesday, I'm going to drive to Houston,
Mm.
and my future, my now best female friend, my female soulmate, is not very well organized. So if I leave it up to her to organize our meeting, we might miss each other. Well, now I have to go look at the map and go look at some places where we can meet, and look at the places where we can be together, and so forth. And details.
Yeah. Hey, I wish the best of luck for that one. That's fantastic. I'm really happy for you.
Yeah, thank you. And this again, this is going to become and I would fictionalize this. But what could it become something of my? Just become obsessed about this. Very theoretically, and just in the remote parts of my mind, but every time I speak to somebody like you, it comes back.
Yeah.
A fictional love story about the little boy
Mhm.
who was looking for love and had been looking for love and had a lot of failure and failure upon failure, and even the most recent marriage that was supposed to be the end all, and that didn't work out. And maybe even if this doesn't work with this lady, but there is indication that it could,
Yeah.
because I already take away from me falling in love with that lady the the fact that I can still do it.
Yes, you can still love.
I can still love, and I am not a rocked up old fart, even though I am. But you know what I'll say?
Physically, maybe, but mentally not.
If I find the time, if and when I find the time, I want to write this
Yeah.
because it's very inspirational.
Mm.
But it's got to be fiction. I can't use real people. That that doesn't work because immediately people misread it. They make villains out of people who really were not villains.
Yeah.
No. Anyway,
And
and what thing? I am delighted that I made you laugh more than once. I probably a dozen times.
yes,
It's one of the things I like doing when I give public speeches to talks. If I don't make the audience laugh at least once or twice, it's a failure.
well, you succeeded this time, I can tell you. But if I can give you a quick comment here still, I've studied emotional freedom techniques and something called schema therapy. Now, in schema therapy, we treat childhood traumas. And what was really nice for me to hear was when you started talking about yourself as the child who was looking for love. And that you're still doing that, because that shows me you have reconnected your adult self with your child self. And that is something far too few do. Particularly men, for some reason, have a lot of difficulties with this. So you should be proud of yourself with that.
Thank you for that feedback. And and you know who actually made me realize that I'm already there?
No.
This young lady by the name of Inez. She said, "You still the little boy."
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I told you, we know each other quite well, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be great meeting.
Yeah.
All right, and great meeting you.
Thank you. Same.
What are you gonna do with this now?
So I'm going to, first of all, edit the beginning introduction to the front of it, of course. And then I will send you the version that I'm going to put out there. And then you can check that it's okay, that everything's fine, that nothing you want to delete.
Yeah, the only thing that I know it for, and I know myself, I have a halting speech pattern occasionally, and I have sometimes delayed retrieval of a word that I'm looking for. But I've been told it's okay
Yeah.
to make it sound more authentic.
Yeah, I don't see any problems with that at all.
Okay, I get it. I understand.
And then after that, once you A-OK it, I'm going to put it into YouTube, LinkedIn, my website, and potentially Spotify.
And and quite frankly, you taking with this the first step in distributing my legacy.
Oh, thank you.
Think about it. Think about it. You know what I shared with you pretty much my inner feelings and my plans and my thoughts and where I came from, where I'm going.
Yeah.
And I don't have something that you can touch. I say my legacy is the mouse or a microphone or something like that.
Yeah.
If what I learned from this life, what I could share, and I shared more with you today than with anybody else.
Wow. Well, that's a big compliment to me. Thank you.
Yeah.
And what do you think is the reason for that, Jack?
What?
Why do you think?
I was ready to.
Yeah.
I was ready. Like Inez made me ready, more so than I was before. I had some really, really good interviews. One of them, interestingly enough, with a young lady from Slovenia.
Okay.
And I didn't expect anything out of that interview, but she was better than Jordan Peterson.
What's up?
Very, very great insights, instinctive insights into my personality. And at the end of the interview, I said to her, and I knew I could date it without being misunderstood. I said to her, if you were in this room and you were age appropriate, I would get on my knees and ask her to marry me. Oh, she said, and I would probably say yes.
Wow.
So this was another one of those connections.
Yeah.
And I, quite frankly, I connect with some men, but not one I connect with as deeply as with some women.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I have the exact same thing. Of all my friends, almost all are women. I don't know.
I had at some point I had almost all my friends were women also.
Yeah.
But now I have a male network that I belong to, and there's some men like me in that network. So they have spiritual component to their being.
Yeah.
But before I met this network, it was mostly women, and it's not because of my mother, because my mother was a man and with women biology, with a woman biology. She was male. She was domineering.
Right.
I'm not looking for my mother.
Yeah.
It was just like I relate more to the. We all are the mix between male and female anyway.
Yeah.
And I have a female component to myself.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of it. No big deal. I don't if I can go shoot guns in Texas here.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to either.
No. And then, all the stuff and going out there and shooting deer and stuff like that. I don't like killing.
Oh, don't say it.
And I gotta go.
Yeah.
Again, I'll be waiting for what you're sending me, and I will, wherever it goes, I will make sure it gets distributed even farther.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, and this is your version assignment, so that
Yeah.
it may help you quite a little bit.
I believe it will do. Yes, a lot in actual fact.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jack. Hey.
Okay. Bye. Take care. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye. Whoa.